Okay, hi guys. I first thing I want to say is I am so sorry about the audio. I am working on getting a microphone that works, but right now I'm just going off from my computer's built-in mic from the webcam. Webcam. Be nice if I could talk. Okay, so my first video that I ever posted for editing was how I do a painterly edit. But, like, I've totally changed how I do a painterly edit since then. So I wanted to show you some of the things that I've picked up and some of the different methods. Not that there's right or wrong, because ultimately it just comes down to your preference on what you like. So the first thing I'm going to do all the time, and somehow I accidentally added a text layer, we're going to ignore that. Delete. Select that background layer. Control or Command J, so that we basically just duplicate this background layer, make a copy, because we don't want to ever work on the background layer. You can never tell exactly, you just don't have a starting point. If you just work on the background, it's hard to go back. So like if we get to a point where we want to start over, by having made that copy, we can start over anytime we want. And I tend to keep my layers, I like to keep them simple, but I also tend to keep them until I know for sure that I like a certain, however, like whatever I did, I want to make sure that I like what I did before I either merge it with another layer or whatever I choose to do with it. I always make sure that I don't get rid of that layer until I'm sure I'm going to be keeping that, whatever change that I made. Okay, so I actually edited this for color and did the tone curves and everything, but there's some bumps on her cheek here that I really wanted to kind of smooth out first. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the lasso tool, and we're going to select, and to add to a selection you hold down shift, and I just circle all the little tiny dots or whatever blemishes are on the face that I don't like. Now my daughter, this is my daughter here. She's 4. Her name is Anna, which is short for Anastasia. She's my gentle giant. She's the size of a 6.5-year-old, and she's only 4.5. I'm going to keep her scar there because that's part of who she is. I like it. But yeah, the little things here that might bug me, I will go ahead and select those. Don't forget to hold that shift down, or you're just going to end up undoing all of that work and selecting something new and unselecting other deselecting other things. I'm not so good at talking, so bear with me, please. I'm doing my best. But we're going to go to fill, content aware, okay, and then deselect, controller command D, and as you can see, there's without it, and then that's what we did. It's just a little bit of smoothing, but yeah, I like that. So there's a couple of things that we could do to get that painterly look, but right now I like that. So I'm not, okay, I'll do it for the sake of showing you what you should do, but I normally would just keep editing on this layer, but I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it, make a copy of it, so that we can undo it if we decide to not do it that way. Okay, so the first thing I do is, this is something that's super simple. I go to stylize, oil paint, and then from this, I take out the lighting for now. But I have everything as high as it'll go. I'm just waiting for my computer to catch up because it's having troubles. So as soon as that catches up, we'll get there. See if it'll let me. There we go. Sorry, that was really loud. Didn't mean to. It just happens sometimes. Alright, let me see where I'm at on her. Okay, so if you look at the preview, it takes a minute because it takes a lot from the RAM here. I like to look at the eyes just because the eyes to me are the most important thing in any photograph. If the eyes are open, that's important. It needs to be in focus. So when I do this, I make sure that the eye still looks kind of normal. And if you look at this zoomed in, it's a little strong for my taste. So I'm going to take it down a notch. And this sometimes takes a little bit too. And I accidentally did that, which is fine. Because I didn't mean to close out of that, but it's fun because there's another way. If you wanted to do it full strength, you could always dial it back. Or, when it gets there, I'll show you what we can do. If you hear random voices in the background, my daughter is currently watching YouTube, and she's got a family that she likes to watch on YouTube, and so she's off doing that. So you might hear her once in a while. She's calling my name right now. Okay, so if you zoom in, you can really see that. And then what I like to do, thank you, Anna, she just gave me some gum. Okay, so I like to create a mask. Make sure this is black, and I kind of like to take some of that off, especially right around the iris. I kind of keep it on the lower lashes, and I like to keep a little bit on the lashes to kind of still get that effect. But I like the iris I don't know, I just like it to stay sharp. So if you like it to look more painted and you want it to look more like a real oil painting, then that's fine. That's your decision, that's your choice. But so this is before, and this is it after, and then I'll fill the screen so you can see it a little bit better. The before and the after. Now, if this is not strong enough, if you like the effect but it's not strong enough, because it does look like it looks like an oil painting, and I softened it a little bit beforehand when I edited the picture the first time. I did soften it a little bit. Now what I like to do is I like to take and create another copy. Sometimes I like to create a new layer from Visible, which is Control or Command, Control Alt Shift and E on a Windows. I'm not exactly sure what it is on a Mac, but it would be something along the lines of that. So, okay, so here's a second layer, and then what I do is I go to Stylize, go to Oil Paint again, and then I'm going to go ahead and make this 10 and not accidentally click out of there. Then I add the lighting. I like to add the lighting in because what that does is, you see, if you look in this, it kind of looks like, hang on, I gotta go check on my daughter. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm back, so I'm gonna probably clip that out. Okay, so this is kind of where it looks more like a stroke from your brush, from the bristle. So I like that look. And then the problem is, and I'm gonna go ahead and let it do its thing. And so the problem is when you zoom in, you see how the skin looks. It really looks unnatural, and that's what I don't like. I love the hair. I love how her clothes look. I love how the windowsill looks. I love everything, but her skin. So what I do is, again, I make another layer. I kind of want to make sure that it's a black brush. And I always make sure it's a soft brush because you don't really want to define the edges too much of where you're doing this to. And then I make sure that it's a 100% opacity with around a 8 to 12% flow, because you don't want to do it all at once. But then you just go over everything here. And bear with me, I'm used to editing with a tablet. However, mine broke. It's my second one that's broke since I started using them. But right now I'm using a mouse and I'm not used to it, so please bear with me on that. But anyway, so we're just going over really quickly anywhere that there's skin, because to me the brush strokes, it kind of makes it look unnatural to me and I don't like it. But you could keep it. If you like it, keep it. I'm going to, again, get it off of the iris here. Just being really a little bit careful here. But I'm going to make it bigger again, and then I'm going to... It's okay to stay away from the edges when you're doing this, because I do like that effect on the edges. And I'm probably going to add it back in certain spots where I accidentally went too close to the edge. I like it on her lips, and I like it on her nose. I just don't like it on her cheeks. I don't know why, but I just don't. To me, it looks... It doesn't... I don't know. It just doesn't look realistic to me, I guess, as a painting. I don't know. If you might know why I don't like it, then you can tell me. I love editing. This is so much fun to me. Okay, so now you can clearly see the before and after. I'm going to put it to fit, make sure I grabbed all of the skin here. And then I'm going to make it fill the screen so you can see the before and after. And what I'm going to do is, since I made this layer from all visible, now I don't have to start over and click, click, click. I can just show you the before and the after. And you can keep building this and building this and building this until you get to what you want. Now here's another thing, is I'm still a little bothered by the amount of texture. You can go in and you can do a surface blur. Let's do that really quick. I'm going to make another layer from visible, and I'm going to go to filter, and this time I'm going to go to blur, surface blur, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm really back this time. Sorry about that. I had a phone call from my husband, but we're done now, and so let's keep going. Okay, so what I was getting at is I reduce, I play with this just a little bit until I like the results, and I think I'm going to definitely turn that down more, because I don't want to overdo it, but I do want it to be for the most part pretty smooth. Okay. Now with this, once it gets down here, I'm going to go ahead and create a black layer mask. So it's going to be blocking it out. So by doing Alt and then grabbing the mask, now see it's all black. I want to switch and make sure I have a white brush. And I keep the brushes soft so that we don't have a hard edge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the areas where there's just a little too much texture for my taste. And what I like about this is I saw in the preview, I kind of liked how it looked over some of the edges. But in general, you don't want to blur the edges too much, or it's just going to look fake. Like, it doesn't look like a painting or anything. It just looks bad. So be careful with softening the edges just too much. But some of these lines are still there from doing the oil filter. So I want to take some of that out, and I'm not going to add it there. Sorry. Control Z. But I am going to make this a little softer, and then right back on her cheek. Again, she has eczyma, so that's what that is. Okay, so that I'm pretty happy with. I think I'm pretty happy with that. And then what I am going to do is create yet another layer from Visible. And I think I'm going to go back and grab some of these spots here where there's a little bit more. Oops, I forgot to hold down the shift. Still happens to me all the time. I get talking and I can't multitask. Like, I cannot walk and chew bubblegum. I will trip or choke, one of the two. Possibly both. Okay, and then we're going to go to Fill, Content Aware. Wait for the computer to do its thing. Deselect. And I like that a lot better. So I'm going to turn off everything other than the background. And so we can see the ultimate before and after. Now, let me see. Let me turn that off and go. So you can see the whole image. And I like that. Now, for my taste only, I'm going to crop it just because I think for me, oops, don't want that. We are not doing that. Let's go with 8 by 10. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better. All right. Before and after. We'll go with before, zoom in, screen, after. See, it adds just enough of that painterly feeling to it. And then, like, you can, I normally would do the painterly stuff first, and then I would do any of the coloration last, but this was just an image that I had already edited, and it was just what I grabbed. So I do apologize for that, but you get the hint. You get an idea of one of the ways that you can experiment to get that painterly look. And let's just say, like, I wasn't happy with this color. You could always add either a color lookup, but my favorite one is the gradient map. And then I always change it. I don't know why, but I always use soft light. Now I actually like the one that came up. I think that that's cool. However, I'm not sure if that's the color I want to go with, but I love that you can change it to different things. And oh, I really like that one too. I think I like to start out at, like, sometimes I start out as low as like 12. But I think I am going to go with like 25. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. I like how it gives it just a little bit of a pop. Whoops. Yeah. It cools it down, but I like it. And I mean, there's other things you could do. I really like that too. There we go. There's another one. So you get the gist of it, right? So if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a big thumbs up, and if you have anything that you want to see or any specific questions, please leave a comment or email me at studio@ivoryanchorstudio.com, studio@ivoryanchorstudio.com. Thank you guys. Have a great day.